StrayAllDay.com.
You're now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called work on your game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is why to focus on less, not more information. Before we get into this, remind everyone to send out a text every single day, guaranteed to have you focused, sharp, and on point, called the Daily Motivation. Send out one every week called the Monday Motivation. You can get these texts by being a part of my text community. That's the only way you could possibly be eligible to get them. You got to be in my community. It's free to join. The number to text is 305-384-6894. Secondly, Work on Your Game University. That is the only place that I do any coaching. If you would like to be coached by me directly, there is only one way to get involved, and that is to be a member of the university. The way you join the university is by going to workonyourgameuniversity.com. You can schedule a time to get a free call with us. We'll talk about where you're at, where you want to go, and what you think might be in your way. If we feel like you'd be a good fit for what we're doing and we believe we can help you, we'll tell you how and what that will look like and how it will work, all of that, again, at workonyourgameuniversity.com. We are looking for people who are top 2% performers. Either you are already or you are looking to be that person. We're looking for high-level individuals who are ambitious and driven, and you want to go somewhere that is far above where you are right now, wherever you may be right now. You're making $1 million a year, you want to go far above that. You're making 100,000, you want to go far above that. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Again, our 4-part framework: mindset, strategy, systems, and accountability. All that out the way. Let's talk about today's topic, which is why to focus on less, not more information. So this masterclass is designed to help you not fall victim to drowning in the deep, wide ocean of information that is available to all of us these days, especially those of you who are ambitious about your success. It's very easy to fall into this trap of consuming everything that you could possibly come across. And I was reminded of this when I was speaking to a friend who I recently saw at a conference. So I'll give credit to her. I'm not going to say her name, but speaking to her actually planted the seed for what I'm going to talk about here today. Every time I speak to this friend, she mentions 5 or 6 or 7 different courses or programs or free downloads or webinars or Google gurus or experts that she is consuming information from. She's always consuming more information from some other person who is great, and you need to get on this because this is a game changer. You don't know about this. Oh man, you got to download this. Oh, look at this thing this person has. She is in this abyss of professional information gathering, and I don't want her to become this, but she is zealously consuming way too much information. I want to make sure you do not fall into this trap. So that's what today's episode is about. Again, consuming less, not more information. And you could take the word information out and plug in pretty much anything you're consuming, and you'll probably do better at that thing, no matter what it is. We can talk about food, we can talk about people, we can talk information, and we can talk a whole lot of other things that you have going on. But today we're going to focus on information. Point number 1, topic once again, is why to focus on less, not more information. Number 1, the value of knowledge is not in its possession, it's in its implementation. The value of knowledge is not in the possession of the knowledge, it is in the implementation of the knowledge. This is the key, folks, right here. This is the key. This same friend who I'm telling you about, we were conversing maybe a month ago, and she was saying, are you familiar with such and such guru? She named the guru. I said, I am familiar with him. I've heard of that person, but I have never consumed any of their material. Never bought anything from them, never downloaded anything from them, but I have seen the person because they run a lot of ads and they're pretty well known. And this friend said back to me, well, this person is putting out this free download, this like all this stuff is amazing. Like you absolutely have to get it. You got to get it. I'm gonna send you the link. She didn't even ask me if I wanted the link. She said, I'm going to send you the link. She sent me the link. I clicked on the link and I looked at it. And she was telling the truth. This person was giving away a lot of stuff. Stuff they were giving away was a motherload of free stuff and like case studies and templates and all this stuff this person had been using over the years that was helpful, etc. And you just put your email address in and you can get the stuff. And since I was already there, I was curious just to see how this person did their stuff and maybe see what they write about in their emails. So I put in my email address to get the free stuff, but for whatever reason, the page froze up because it was so much stuff on the page. I think it froze the page. There was so much going on that page. And it ended up not going through, and I didn't even bother with trying to make it go through again. I said, forget it. I don't want to consume that person's shit anyway. All it would do is slow me down and distract me from what I need to be focused on. So I never even revisited the concept. I'm telling you all that to tell you this. I was not going to implement anything I got from that person. Didn't matter how much free shit that they were giving away. And they were giving away a lot of free shit. There's a lot of free stuff in that download. If I was a fan of that person, I'd be really excited about downloading that stuff. I know who they are. I'm not an anti-fan. I don't hate them. I don't dislike them. I'm completely neutral. I have no feelings about them whatsoever. And all it was going to do is distract me because I was not going to implement any of it. So what's the point of having the information? None, because I'm not going to do anything with it. And this is what I want you all to get. Every book you read, every course you take, every conference you attend, every expert you follow, every podcast you subscribe to, every YouTube channel you watch, tell me what you have implemented from consuming that material. Don't tell me how great the person is. Don't tell me how much money they made or how many awards they have accumulated. Don't tell me how many people are in their audience or how many followers they have or what their next conference and where it was and how many people were there and how much money they gave away. Don't tell me how their courses on materials are a game changer. I really don't give a fuck about any of that. I don't. Don't tell me how I'm missing out by not consuming their stuff. Don't tell me how you're excited to go to their live event or sign up for their webinar or that you took their 5-day challenge and man, you got to take this person's 5-day challenge. It's amazing. The same friend was telling me about somebody else's 5-day challenge. Actually, a different person's 5-day challenge. Don't tell me any of that. Tell me what you have implemented from what you learned from that person and what results were produced from that implementation. That's all I want to know. See, that will be a shorter conversation. I'm not interested in anyone telling me whose material they consumed and how much of it they got and how great it is and this and that. Don't tell me any of that. What did you implement and what results came from that implementation? Usually, most of the people who I talk to, when they consume a whole lot of different people's information, usually the answer is only a handful of things. Despite all the stuff the person, the guru, the expert gave, or that you got with whatever you purchased, the person has implemented maybe 1 or 2 things. If they're exceptional, maybe 3 things. And the results, 0. They can't show me any result they got from all that stuff they got. Nothing. 0. What results came from your implementation of that stuff? Nothing. They can't show me a single thing they got from it. This question alone, as I said, stops most people in their tracks. Again, those professional information gatherers. If you have not yet implemented information from the last thing that you took in or bought or attended, don't take in the next thing. Implement from the last one you went to. Implement from the last conference, from the last challenge, the last free download, the last book you read before you read the next book. I talk about professional information gatherers in my book, Work on Your Game, which you can get at workonyourgamebook.com. This implementation thing is a big deal. The last conference that I was at, from the date of this recording, every single person who I met at the conference, I would ask all of them the same question. All right, given what you've gotten from this event so far, or now the event's over, whatever. This is a 3, 4, 5-day conference we're at, 4 or 5 days. What are you going to do now? What's next? What's the next step now that you've been here, you got all this information, and you're all excited? What's the next step? And you know what's funny? 98% of the time when I ask people that question, you know what the answer is? The answer is not nothing. Everybody has an answer. The answer is they're going to go do something that they already knew they needed to do before they even attended the conference. In other words, all that they got from the last 4 or 5 days of the conference, none of that is the next thing they actually need to do. The thing they need to do is the thing that they still would have needed to do had they come to the conference or not. That is not to say that the conference is not valuable, because it might put the battery in your back and kind of wake you up and you see other people doing stuff and you say, okay, let me go do stuff. And then you finally do your stuff. But what's interesting is a lot of times people go to events and they read books and they buy courses and they sign up for webinars and 5-day challenges and all this other shit and don't implement any of it. I mean, it feels good to attend it. And I just talked about this in yesterday's masterclass, that as marketers and salespeople, as I am a marketer and a salesperson, we pander to the audience by selling you stuff that we know just by law of averages, most of the stuff that people buy, they do not actually implement. Most of the books that get bought don't get read. Most of the courses that get signed up for do not get completed. People just don't implement. They consume. They do not implement. We are a consumer culture. Notice I didn't say that America is an implementation culture. We are a consumer culture. We just consume shit. We don't necessarily do anything with the stuff that we consume. We just consume it. Nothing else happens. This is why we got an obesity issue, because people consume food, but they don't do anything to burn off the damn calories. It sits on their waist and on their faces and on the back of their arms and on their asses until they die. That's what happens, and on their arteries. We consume, but we do not implement. That's our culture here in America. I'm not saying each individual person. Damn sure I'm not talking about me. I'm just saying as a culture, that's who we are. Consumers. And people taking all this stuff, and then they say, like last conference I was at, I remember I was speaking to a woman. I said, what are you going to do now that you've been to the event? She said, well, I got to organize my coaching program and I got to finish writing my book. And this, in the conversation we already had, I already knew this person had a coaching program that was unorganized before they came to the event, and they had a book that they hadn't finished writing before they came to the event. And I said, well, you need to do that before you came here, didn't you? And she laughed, and I laughed, but it was true. And a whole bunch of people do this. There are a few people I know who go to events like events that I go to, and they don't go there looking for information. For example, me, myself, I don't go to events looking for information. Maybe when I first started going to events, I was looking for information, but these days I don't go to events for information, because almost everything that the speakers say from the stage, they've already said in some other material of theirs. And if I'm interested in them, I'll just go get their material from somewhere else, like their book or their event or their course or their program, or join their mastermind or whatever the hell is going on. Whatever they're saying on the stage ain't new. I can get it somewhere else. So even if I miss their speech or half their speech, it doesn't matter. If I'm talking to somebody while they're talking, it doesn't matter. I'll get the information. Not to say you shouldn't go to events, because here's the reason why I go. I go to see and be seen, to meet people, to make connections. And a lot of the people who I'm going to be working with now and moving into 2024 are people who I meet at conferences. That's where I meet them. I go to the conferences to network and find the next person who's going to help me do the thing that I need to do next. So if I need somebody who's going to help build websites and funnels for me, I go to conferences, because I know there's probably 500 people there who build websites and funnels. I just need to meet the right one. Who's going to build websites and funnels for me? That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for someone who can represent me and do some outreach on my behalf, because I don't want to do it. Who's it going to be? I'm going to find them right here at this event. That's the reason I go. I go so I can be seen by other people, because somebody might be looking for what I'm offering, and so I can meet the people who can help me do the things that I want to do. Last event I went to, I knew somebody already there, that we see each other all the time at conferences, and he told me he met a guy that could do something for him that guy also could do for me, and he made the connection. I connected with that guy, and as of this recording, we're in the process of them doing some things for me that they said they could do, just because I was at the event, because I know people who know people. That's the reason I go to events. I don't go there looking for information, because I know I already got enough information. I give out information. I don't need to take in more information. And if anything, I need to implement the stuff that I already got going on. I don't need to take in more. And you need to do the exact same thing. Don't keep consuming if you're not implementing. Point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is why to focus on less, not more information. Number 2, less information, more deeply emphasized, studied, and understood is more valuable than a lot of information upon which you skim the surface. Let me repeat that one. Less information that is more deeply ingrained is more valuable than a lot of information where you just skim the surface. What most people do is get a whole bunch of information to skim the surface, especially if it's relatively cheap, free, easy, one-click download, all this stuff. People have all this stuff that they downloaded and saved and kept, and even me, I'm the one telling you, less information, more focus. I still got stuff that I've taken in that I never have done anything with. I take in a lot less than most people, but I still am guilty of taking in stuff that I don't do anything with. But when I do implement, I go deep. I go all the way to the bottom of the well of whatever person's information I get into. Any program I get into, I go to the bottom of the well of what they have. Everything they got, I go into all of it. I may not go in immediately, but I go into all of it. Anything they're offering, I'm gonna take in all of it. I'm gonna know everything they're talking about, everything they teach, all their trainings. I even go through their stuff on subjects that I don't even think I need, just to see what they have to say, because I'm gonna find something. But I only pick a few people. I don't go to 100 different people's webinars. I pick a few and I stick to those few. So you got to choose wisely here. Now, I talk about this in the episode where I discussed going an inch wide and a mile deep, which I believe was episode 1154. But let me verify, make sure that's right. No, it's not 1154. It is 1254, inches and miles, going inch wide and a mile deep. That means not going so vast across different people, but picking a handful of people and going as deep as you can into everything they got. Which is, if you're in the work on your game world, that's exactly what you should be doing. You should be going a mile deep into my material. I mean, you should listen to every episode I ever put out. Watch all the YouTube videos I put out. Read all the articles. If you have my books, read the books. Read them more than once. If you're in my university, go through the courses in the university. Go through every single thing that I put out, every single training. Even if it's on a subject that you think you don't need, go through it, because I may say something offhand for 5 seconds that might be the key thing you need to hear. But you got to go deep. Most people, given today's climate, make the mistake of going a mile wide and an inch deep. They skim the surface of everything they come across, a lot of which, again, is relatively free or cheap, and they never get to the bottom of the well of anyone's material. Most people don't even get 10% into most people's material because they are flitting from space to space, person to person, information to information, from bright, shiny object to bright, shiny object, or what we now have as bright, shiny information, which I talked about in episode number 2012, shiny information syndrome. And I also talked about shiny object syndrome in episode 1703. I get exposed to a lot of bright and shiny information, a lot of which is very good information. Let's be clear. All right, all the gurus and experts out here, I'm not saying that they're all scammers and liars and not worth it. Some of them, many of them, as a matter of fact, are actually very good. They are quality individuals. I'm not knocking them. There are some of them who I would knock, but I'm not going to do it today. But there are many who are actually very good. Okay. And you know what I do when I come across one of those people? I ignore them. You know why? Because I'm going to choose the few that I need to get my information from. I'm going to go deep in my implementation. I'm going to pay no attention to everybody else. That's what I'm doing. There's some really good marketers and salespeople out there who I believe are very good. I just have a theory that they're very good, because I don't know, because I haven't gone deep into their stuff. I have a theory that they're very good because I know what to look for. I know the context clues to look for. And I know very little about their work, even though I believe they're very good. You know why? Not because I don't know who they are. I know who they are. I can tell you their names. Because I don't go into every single thing that's presented to me. You need to do the same. You need to be, again, inch wide and a mile deep on who you're going to deal with. You don't have the resources to take in everything that is available to you these days. Again, even on the free side, there's too much. You don't have the resources to take it all in. And eventually, you take in so much, one person's idea is going to conflict with another person's idea, and then you're going to be confused because you're taking in both of them. Which one are you going to listen to? You got to pick one. This is why you need to make good choices from the beginning. Moving on to point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is taking in more, not less information. Number 3, here's the key. I just told you. Choose your sources wisely. This is the key. Once you choose your sources, you need to go in depth with what those sources are offering you, and do not pick your head up. Do not look around. Do not ask yourself what else is out there. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Focus on the ones you decided to go in on. This is the focus. This is the discipline. This is the depth that you need to go to in order to become an expert at what you're doing to get all the value from the thing that you have invested your time, attention, and probably your money into. You got to go deep, and you got to stop looking around at everything else that's going on and just focus on the thing that you decided to get invested in. This is where most people fail. They go 2 levels deep into something that has 25 levels of depth, and then can't stay focused for long enough before they want to go do something else and go 2 levels deep at that. It's like somebody going through a buffet line and just getting like one little piece of every single thing in the buffet because it's a buffet. This is the reason they do it. I'm at the buffet, so I might as well test out a little bit of everything because it's a buffet. How can I go to a buffet and not test out this and this and this and this? No, that's not what you should do at a buffet. Pick the stuff that you want and get a healthy serving of it. In America, I don't even have to tell y'all what that is. Most of us in America eat way too much food. This is why I have a meal delivery service, portion control. But we eat way too much food. When you go out to eat, the amount of food that gets put on your plate is like twice as much as you actually need. That's a different conversation for a different day. Get the food that you want and get a healthy amount of it and eat that. You don't have to test something out just because it's there. Just because it's there doesn't mean you have to eat it. Okay? So back in the days, those of you over the age of 30, maybe your parents told you can't get up from the dinner table to eat all your food because there are kids starving in China or Africa or wherever it is the kids are supposedly starving. So now you got to eat all your food. You eating that food ain't going to feed none of those starving kids in China. Just because it's there don't mean you got to eat it. Just because a guru put out a webinar don't mean you got to watch it. Just because some expert got a free download does not mean you need to download it. Are you going to actually implement it? If not, stay away. Have you implemented this, like the last thing you downloaded? If not, why are you downloading a new thing? Again, as marketers, we pander to this. Okay, so I could be shooting myself in the foot by even telling you these things, but this is I have a mandate to tell you the truth of the game, whatever it may be. And those of you who are really going to go in deep with me, you appreciate me telling you the truth, and you're going to go deep in with me regardless because you understand the truth is the truth. You appreciate the truth. Most people, before I even get to that, you got to make sure that your sources, once you choose them, make sure that they are someone who can help you with what you need. You trust that they will actually help you. They can help you. They will help you. And then you're going to follow what they tell you in full and in depth. You will follow what they tell you in full and in depth, in detail. So let me say those three things again. Choose your expert. Choose a person who you believe can help you, who you trust will help you. In other words, they will follow through and actually do what they told you they're going to do. And then everything they tell you, do it. That's it. They can, they will, and then you do it. Everything they say. No exceptions. Most people never do this with a single thing in their lives. Most people have never done this in anything, ever. This is why most people don't achieve high levels of success. It has nothing to do with your capacity or your potential, nor the availability of what I'm describing here. Everybody can do this. Everybody has the ability to pay attention. I mean, you've been paying attention to this show for the last 20 plus minutes. You got the ability. It's just, are you willing to discipline yourself and actually do it? That's the question. That's it. Let's recap today's class, which is why to focus on less and not more information. This is about not falling victim to the deep, wide ocean of information that is available to all of us these days and not drown in it, even though there's so much of it. Point number one, value of knowledge is not in its possession, it's in its implementation. This is the key right here. Everything you take in, read, download, sign up for, actually implement something. Now, I don't care what you took in. Tell me what you have implemented. As I told you, I had a friend who's always telling me about some new expert or guru, some download, some webinar, some shit that they got involved in, some event they're going to. And I often ask them the question when they start rambling about all the stuff from all these different people. Tell me what you've actually implemented from all the stuff you've taken in. And that usually quiets them down pretty quickly. Point number two, less information, more deeply emphasized, studied, and understood is more valuable than a lot of information where you are simply skimming the surface. Go an inch wide and a mile deep. That's how you consume information. That means you need to, point number three, choose your sources wisely. Choose your experts. Choose your gurus. Who is going to be your expert or guru on whatever topic? Hopefully I fall into the category of being your expert or guru on the things that you most appreciate from me. It could be multiple things. I talk about many different things. And in Work on Your Game University, that's where I want to assume that role for you. Choose your sources wisely. Once you choose your sources, this is the key, how you choose them. First of all, pick the person you believe can help you. Number two, you trust that they will help you because there are experts and gurus out there. Not going to say any names, but I've heard the horror stories from some of my clients that they signed up with somebody's stuff and that person did not actually deliver what they said they're going to deliver, or it wasn't as hands-on as it sounded like when they signed up. In other words, the guru got their money, but they didn't actually deliver. Make sure you pick someone who can help you and that you trust that they will. They will actually follow through and do what they said they're going to do and help you the way they said they're going to help you. And then number three, once you got those two down, here's your part. Do everything they say. Follow everything they give you. Take in all the material. So if they have a back-end website with all the videos and the trainings and the exercises, do all of them, 100%. Not just the ones that you are interested in, all of them. You need to be interested in all of it. Are you invested in that person's stuff? That means take in everything you pay for. Get all of it. This is where you go a mile deep. So you're consuming all the material, but you're getting it from one source, not all the material just because it's out there. All right, this is a different type of vastness. That's the focus. This is the discipline. And this is the depth that you need to go into. Most people never go deep at anything. This is the reason why many people never get the success that they want. They never go deep on anything. You're skimming the surface everywhere. You're taking one bite of everything at the buffet instead of filling your plate with the kind of food you actually want. That's what you need to be doing. All that said, text me at my number, 305-384-6894. You'll be in my text community. It's free to join the community. Daily motivation every day, Monday motivation every week. Secondly, Work on Your Game University. We got a 4-part framework: mindset, strategy, systems, and accountability. If you would like to work with me directly, this is the only place I work with anyone directly. The only place I coach anybody is inside of Work on Your Game University. If you like what you hear here on this show, if I'm bringing up things that you know are challenges for you and you know you need to do something about it, stop telling yourself, let me just work on it on my own. You've been doing that for years. All right, how long we're going to be on the slow bus to getting used to success? Let's hop on in the fast lane and let's get there quicker and more efficiently because you are on the clock. Time is running out every single day. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Link is in the description. Work on your game. Dre, all